Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, what would happen if your mobile phone killed you?
We are tonight's entertainment.
I would rather watch Beautician and the Beast.
People don't forget.
And here we go.
Made for movies.
All right, everybody, we are back. It is Monday. You know what that means on the Made for Movies podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Wolf. With me, as always, Mr. Eric Russo. How are you, good sir?
I'm excited on this Monday morning to bring the people what they want.
The latest in news and entertainment. Lots happening out there. A lot of stuff dropping, a lot of news, a lot of Netflix, a lot of everything. Just seems like it's a little bit crazy.
Once again, the top 5 news stories of the week and a very special edition of Wolf's Why Is This Happening? Double feature, 2 Wolf's Why Is This Happening news stories of the week.
That's great. I always like more Why Is This Happening?
Most of these could probably fall into that category, but we're trying to be nice. So should we jump into this today?
We shall.
So the top 5 stories of the week, we'll start with number 5. It deals with Netflix is making a live-action Gundam movie directed by Jordan Vogt Roberts. It's going to be produced by Legendary Pictures. Legendary Pictures has made the Pacific Rim movies, as well as responsible for co-producing the entire MonsterVerse. So this will stream exclusively on Netflix. So, Wolf, I ask you, are you a Gundam fan, and are you excited for a live-action mecha Gundam robot movie?
So to start with the beginning, I didn't really know that much about Gundam other than that they existed. And then once I saw the giant Gundam in Ready Player One, I was like, okay, yeah, this looks pretty cool. Kind of like a Power Rangers vibe, or, any kind of, mechanisms that come together to form kind of super creatures or super robots. So when I heard this, I was like, I'll definitely watch it. Not opposed to anything like that, especially live action. I hope the special effects are good. But, not excited, but not something I will probably miss at the same time.
Yeah, so I'll probably get torn apart by people online, but when I watched Ready Player One, I was like, isn't that the guy from from Power Rangers? I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the machine that comes together to form one. I forget what they call it. But, yeah, so I feel like, but I've also seen this cartoon when I was a kid. I must have, because I'm so familiar with the look and design of it. So I'll watch it for sure. Jordan Vogt Roberts did a really good job with Kong Skull Island. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't know. I haven't watched one action movie from Netflix that's good that they've produced themselves. So in fact, most of them are really, really bad. I would say Extraction's like the best of the bunch, and that
has the worst ending of all time. Yes, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, let's not spoil it, but let's just tell people to stay away from all their movies. But yes. No, it does have its decent moments. It's like an entertaining movie, but aside from that, terrible all the way down the line. So I don't expect it to be good, but at the same time, sure, why not? Let's get Godzilla and Kong a villain to fight, or Godzilla versus Kong versus Gundam.
There's going to be a million crossovers. Legendary Pictures often collaborates with Warner Brothers, so basically there's going to be a lot of that. Hopefully we'll see some stuff down the road that we like to see as far as monsters and whatnot. But yeah.
Last comment on this. It is interesting that Warner's and Netflix are definitely at war, and it seems like Legendary Warner's bought out Legendary for Godzilla vs. Kong, so they by the time it was rolling, they had no financial connection to it. So it seems like maybe Legendary is finally getting away from MonsterVerse, and it'll just be Warner's. I really don't know. It sounds like it's going to be a nice legal battle, and we may not get any of these movies for a while. So it should be interesting, but moving right along, number 4, top 4 story of the week, about a movie called Army of the Dead. New trailer drops for Zack Snyder's new zombie movie starring Dave Bautista, Ella Punel, Ana de la Gregora. Wow, that's a name right there.
She's one of you. How can you not get the name?
Yeah, what
Is
she,
that Italian?
I
Sounded like it.
Sounds like a professional wrestler.
Like Rikishi.
Yeah, Alberto Del Rio or Oscar de la Hoya. But yeah, so written by Zack Snyder, directed by Zack Snyder. Just dropped this full-length trailer. This movie comes out May 21st on Netflix, streaming exclusively. Also releases in theaters on May 14th, which is a very interesting thing for Netflix. I haven't really seen them do too much of that. So I ask you, Wolf, did you watch the trailer, and are you excited for this new Zack Snyder movie?
So I actually did watch the trailer. It's not my cup of tea, mostly because I don't like giant pieces of crap in my tea, but that's just a whole nother conversation. But no, I actually, when I saw Batista, I was like, okay, I don't mind him as an actor, pretty much funny and everything, and it seems like he's playing his normal, shoot 'em up self in this trailer. I don't like Dawn of the Dead, but I get it. Like, it's a zombie movie and they're pretty ferocious, and what's happened in the world since Dawn of the Dead is obviously fairly interesting. It's like a 28 days later and a 28 weeks later. So it kind of follows that. I would imagine it follows that to a T. But I don't know. Maybe I'll be forced to watch it because I have a movie podcast. But I'll definitely give it a fair shot. It's not like it's going to be like a jump scare type of movie. It'll just be basically guns and zombies. So Game of Thrones set in modern times. So I'll watch it. I'm just not too excited about these types of movies.
Yeah, I have a few thoughts about it for sure. So first, I love Dawn of the Dead. For as much as I think Zack Snyder is highly overrated as a filmmaker, Dawn of the Dead, his very first movie, is by far his best. I think there's no question about it. One thing about that movie a lot of people don't know, including myself until pretty recently, is that James Gunn wrote Dawn of the Dead, which when you watch it, you're like, okay, this is why this is not, it doesn't feel like a Zack Snyder movie. It feels like a James Gunn movie. There's hardly that much slow motion in that one. Couple things funny with the trailer. First, I thought it was funny. They're like, from the director of Dawn of the Dead, 300, and Man of Steel. So no mention of
Justice League. Those are the three movies they pick for him. Obviously, you have to do Dawn of the Dead, but 300 is probably his second best movie, in my opinion.
And it's his second movie, too, which is funny.
And it was his second movie? Oh, man, he just went downhill. It's unreal.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I mean, I get it. Yeah, they're obviously going to use Dawn of the Dead to sell Army of the Dead. I think this plot looks like the most generic thing I've ever seen. Like, I always think it's funny when it's like 200. They're going to get $200 million. Like, that should matter to us. Like, yeah, I don't care. Like,
and why does it matter to them in a zombie apocalypse? Like,
Yeah.
There's no place to buy anything. Like, what are you going to use that money for?
It's going to be fun. I really like Batista. It looks like a very goofy movie. One thing I hate about zombie movies is when did you see what's the movie with Woody Harrelson and Patty, Jesse Eisenberg?
Yeah, Zombieland.
Zombieland. So I love Zombieland 1. Zombieland 2 is pretty terrible, and they introduce like
dumpster fire.
Yeah, like the super smart, super fast zombies, which this movie looks like it's doing as well. I just think like when you start getting too cute with it, zombie animals, like trying to like take it to the next level, it almost always is stupid.
We've never seen that before. Like I Am Legend or every other zombie movie ever, where they evolve, and it looks like in the trailer in this one, there's a zombie wedding. So I can't wait to see that. Boo.
Yeah,
no,
I'm a big supporter of the Walking Dead TV series. It has its downs, it has its ups, but it's also kind of brought zombies just to the point where like they have Call of Duty zombies. Like there's so much oversaturation with zombies that I don't need to see this movie, but I will. Hopefully it's hilarious, and that's what we get from it. I'm not expecting much, though, written by Zack Snyder, I have to be honest. But moving right along, any last comments on this?
None at all.
That's what I figured. Moving into number 3, something I am somewhat excited about. Mads Mikkelsen is joining Indiana Jones 5 in an undisclosed co-starring role. We don't know too much else about this. This movie is coming out next year, and it is to be not directed by Steven Spielberg. It's going to be directed by James Mangold, who did the movie Logan, which is a fantastic little superhero movie that came out. But I ask you, Are you excited about seeing an Indiana Jones 5 movie with an 80-year-old Harrison Ford? And would you rather see Mads Mikkelsen as a villain or a good guy in this movie?
I have so many mixed emotions about Indiana Jones post 1989 when The Last Crusade came out, which is the third movie. There was a huge gap in between. Harrison Ford obviously got a little older, and they did Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which was a giant dumpster fire.
That was 2007, I think?
I think so, something around there. And when Shia LaBeouf is the best part of your movie, that's bad, right? Like, I love Indiana Jones 1 through 3, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade. They're all fantastic movies, rewatchable, and I still like them. But the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull really bummed me out because it's hard for me to accept that Indiana Jones could have a bad movie. Like, even though Temple of Doom isn't the greatest, it's still, entertaining. I love Mads Mikkelsen, however, from Casino Royale, from Rogue One. He's in so many movies now. He plays Hannibal Lecter, I think, right? In a Hannibal series. He's one of my favorite actors. There's without question. He intrigues me enough that I will probably go see this, of course. As to whether or not he should be a villain, I think he should probably be a villain in everything he's in because of how good he was in Casino Royale. But it's also good to root for him, I think, at the same time. So if he's a good guy, I would definitely like that too.
That's a pretty fair point. Yeah, I would agree. I don't hate Crystal Skull as much as you, probably because like the first three Indies, I enjoy them, but they're not like in my all-time favorite movies. The first one's probably my favorite. Fantastic movie, but yeah, the fourth one's not good by any means. But it's like I remember watching it in theater and being like, "Well, this is really weird." I just remember all I can remember from that movie is Shia LaBeouf swinging from trees, killer ants, and aliens are the three things that stick out. I don't remember anything. Woody I'm gonna say Woody Harrison. Harrison Ford. I remember him in the refrigerator too. That I actually enjoyed. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, that's the only way to survive a nuclear bomb. So sure, why not just go in the fridge? Right.
That's why I keep one. But as far as Mads Mikkelsen goes, he's definitely one of my favorite actors. Can we just give this guy props for how many franchises is he a part of now? He's got the Harry Potter series with the Fantastic Beasts. He's got Star Wars. He was in Doctor Strange. He was in
right.
He was in 007. Like, this guy literally has done every 5 huge movie franchises, and that's not even to count some of the other smaller roles that he's had.
Right.
But he's great. I'm actually hoping he's a good guy in this, just because I think seeing him and Indy as like these two old dudes kind of teaming up would be really good, and get like some female as the villain to be like evil. I just think he's been the bad guy so much. I think that it's time to give him a little bit of a breather and let him chill out for a movie or two. But yeah, I think this will be, if nothing else, with James Mangold, I think it'll be better than Spielberg because there's not going to be the ties to the other movies at this point, and I'm sure Mangold has a lot of love for the indie movies to be directing it, you would think, right?
Yeah, I would hope so. And I saw a funny meme the other day about Indiana Jones, like that someone should make a full trilogy of movies about his TA who has to teach for him 90% of the time when he's off on adventures. So I kind of hope that
that's
Mads
a Disney
plays...
Plus series.
Yeah, there you go. But if Mads plays any kind of character like that, I think that would be hilarious. So that'd be pretty cool.
For sure. No, I think it'll be something, if nothing else, like just seeing an 80-year-old Harrison Ford walk around. I mean, we did see your favorite movie, The Irishman, so if De Niro can do it at 98, I'm sure that Harrison Ford will be okay.
Please, no de-aging. No flashbacks to Harrison Ford in the Temple of Doom as a younger self. None of that. Please.
That's a great segue into our number 2 story of the week, de-aging. So this is exclusive news that Alfred Molina, who has been rumored to being appearing in the new Spider-Man No Way Home movie, has officially given an interview where he flat out says that he is returning as the villain, Dr. Octopus, in the new Spider-Man. So this should be interesting. One, obviously, if he's been given permission to do this, he's going to be heavily a part of the movie. It's not going to be a spoiler that he's in it. He'll play heavily into the story, I'm assuming, and won't just be some random side character, What's interesting is he has confirmed that he's playing the version that we saw in that movie from 2004, and that, he asked the studio before he came back, I'm 68 years old now, and I don't really move like I used to. And he specifically told, they brought up, well, did you see The Irishman? Because, and the first thing he said to them was, yeah, I did see The Irishman. It looked like a 90-year-old man with a boy with a little, this is interview. He said, it looks like a 90-year-old man with a little boy's face fighting, which is so true. When De Niro's fighting in that movie, it looks like, an older person like that can't move around. Luckily, he said that, with his character, he doesn't really move around anyway. It's all the tentacles, but I am a little nervous that they're really going to de-age him poorly in this. But we'll see. Marvel did have Robert Downey in Civil War de-aged, and they did have Samuel L. Jackson de-aged in Captain Marvel. But are you excited for his return, and do you think this movie has any chance of being good?
So, I've been purposefully avoiding his interview. I knew it would come up today, so I'm not shocked, but I do have some news of my own now. Instead of it being a twofer, why is this happening? Today it's a threefer, because this is just falling right into the why is this happening? Please don't de-age. Please, please, please. Why is he alive as the same version? We watched him die. It's just like we were talking about last week. I know there's a multiverse. I know there's a multiverse, but was there like a portal down in the water where he was drowning?
1,000%.
It's going to be what it is, right?
So he's going to be sinking with it, and there's going to be like a split through the universe, and it's going to happen to suck him up in there at the exact moment. Which reminds me of This Is the End, where he's like, did anyone get sucked up in here? And Michael Cera's like, I got sucked off.
It's so good. So I'm always tremendously excited about this particular Spider-Man story, because Spider-Man 2, as we talked about, was my number one superhero movie of all time. Mm-hmm. And mostly because of Doc Ock and his character, and it's just awesome. So to have him back, great. I like him as an actor. He's great in everything. If the story ends up being heavily, like you said, centered close to him as the villain, I'll be upset, because obviously, yes, Robert Downey did get de-aged in Captain America: Civil War, but he was literally standing stationary, not moving. Whereas Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2, he moves around quite a bit. So I'm picturing like a Man of Steel, like a Superman. I can't even keep it together. Like a Superman upper lip from Justice League 2017 for the entire movie. I'll literally cry and pee at the same time. It'll just be horrible. But sure, yeah, it still could be good, because Tom Holland Spider-Man movies are generally good. So having said all that, it could still be good. I feel
like it's already so ridiculous to do this traveling through time and universes. They could just say that, like, when he went through the time space continuum, it took him 20 years to go through, and now he looks older. That's it. End of story. That's it. That explains everything. As it's as ridiculous as whatever they're gonna do, but I'm excited. I think he will be amazing. I think it'll be, if nothing else, give me Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, being a douchebag, old man Spider-Man. I will eat it all up. So let's. You have any other comments on this, or
I thought when you said that, like, they would be describing it to the audience. It would be like, this is the rope of Hastia compels you to tell the truth. Like, they're gonna have to explain something like that. So I'm excited to see it. Obviously, I will watch it, but please, as little de-aging as possible. Whoever is in charge. Thank you.
Fair enough. So moving into our number one news story of the week, Fast and the Furious 9, also known as F9. I thought it would have been a better movie to be called Fast and Final if it was the last one, which it is not. They have announced that this is the first of 3 movies that will end the series, so a final trilogy leading up to Fast and the Furious 11. Good luck coming up with a cool name for that, but this new trailer has dropped, 3 minutes long, teases multiple new storylines, as well as John Cena as Vin Diesel's evil brother, and possibly them going to space. So I ask you, Wolf, will this movie be as good as the last one, which was pretty decent? And are you done with this series mentally?
So I have been done mentally with the series since F7, we'll call it. So I'm just basically running down my keyboard right now. F3 is the best. F7, R.I.P. Paul Walker. F8 I thought was good. It's just getting to be ridiculous. Yeah. That's my only issue. It was started off as literally street racing losers who we made fun of in high school relentlessly when they showed up with their Hondas. And of course we're going to end up in space. They parachute out of a plane with a car in every movie. It's only a matter of time before they parachute out of a space station and back into the atmosphere.
We don't need roads.
So I will, of course, watch this. I have a thing with some of my boys from college where we just had a ritual to go see the Fast movies when they first came out and just laughed and sometimes cried. R.I.P. Paul Walker one more time. But
it's been a long day.
Charlie Puth, I think you went to high school with him because he's from New Jersey. This is just a little fun fact about Charlie Puth. But he did go to school with a friend of mine, Evan, and shout out to Evan. Thanks for your support of the podcast, my friend. But I think they did too much by releasing too much of footage so far. It's like, oh, okay, I wonder what's going to happen. And then they announced simultaneously there's 2 more movies. So we're not losing Vin Diesel. We're not losing any main character, I don't think. No. But I think my biggest problem with F9 is that Han, who is my favorite character in all of Fast lore, is somehow back. And it's just like every other movie. Death is not final in any way, shape, or form. And this isn't even a fantasy movie. This is actually supposed to be real life. Not that you could drop a car and parachute down perfectly onto a road. But either way.
I I don't like my Han looking like a 50-year-old with a catcher's mitt on his face. Like he got rid of his cool hair. Like he doesn't look young anymore. He literally looks like the dad in Parasite. All right.
That's the funniest joke in the history of Made for Movies podcast. And it's true.
I mean, I'm not even trying to be funny, but as far as this movie goes, a couple funny things I did see. Vin Diesel said that he was meditating and that Paul Walker came to talk to him and sent him John Cena for this movie. Because as everyone knows, this movie is the most important thing in Paul Walker's afterlife. He must make sure that Vin Diesel has a brother, a real brother this time. I think as much as I've defended the series, if you saw an SNL skit and they were making fun of the Fast movies, being like, oh, there's so many, they would have had John Cena on as Vin Diesel's evil brother to make fun of the franchise. If this movie does not end with John Cena and Vin Diesel having a barbecue and becoming brothers again, I will be the most shocked person ever. I think that this series peaks with The Rock and Jason Statham. Unfortunately, they found out that on their own doesn't always work out the best, but they were the best part of Fast and Furious 8. Having them not in this gives me no hope at all, because in the 7th one, where The Rock was barely featured, I think it's one of the worst movies ever made, the 7th one, except for the ending, which makes no sense, but is a fantastic tribute to Paul Walker.
Of course.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't blame them. I can't imagine making that movie without him, but yeah, as far as this one, I will watch it, of course. I hope it's entertaining. I hope it's good, but it just does not look good. And like you said, we've seen 6 minutes of this movie with 2 3-minute trailers, so, aside from the space thing, what else, have we not seen?
Right. And have we not seen in previous movies as well? Yep, there's a villain. There's a villain that's even worse than them that we don't know about yet. We're going to find out in the next movie. So Fast 10, Fast 11, there's going to be 3 more villains.
Yeah,
so.
Clearly, there will be another evil villain. I will say Justin Lin coming back to direct this one. He directed your favorite movie, the 3rd one, as well as the 5th and the 6th one. Might even directed the 4th. I'm not 100% sure. But he's a great director. I will say that as far as these movies go, he's done some of the better ones. He is bringing back Bow Wow and the guy from Friday Night Lights who plays Sean, who is One of the hardest people to look at.
He's
also
he plays a teenager in every movie, and he's 75 years old. It's ridiculous.
The funniest thing they've ever done is bringing him back for Furious 7 when he literally
he was older than Vin Diesel.
He was 55 in that movie, and he looks it too. So
it's so good.
It'll be fun if nothing else. It'll make $1 gajillion. So looking forward to it. But should we move on to your favorite and my favorite segments of the week, the Wolves? Why is this happening? News stories of the week.
Absolutely. Let's round out this threefer. It was a threefer this week.
Yeah,
Obviously, we're not going to
that.
count that exactly,
Yeah.
but we'll just leave it for these two.
Yeah, these two. So we will start. Let's start with the one that made you laugh the most so far. Actor Kevin James is to play Saints coach Sean Payton in a Netflix movie about a year after the Bounty Gate, where he goes to coach his son's middle school or high school football team. Wolf, why is this happening?
That is a very good question. I think it's very funny. They're going to try to make it a cute situation out of what was possibly one of the scariest things to have ever happen in the NFL, where who knows how many times it's happened in the past, but for NFL players who are some of the finest athletes in the world and literally with enough force could kill someone without even blinking, and to have them go and target players and actually get rewarded for targeting players, it's pretty messed up. Like, whatever resolution they came to, blah, 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 it was probably happening. And they're going to try to make it cute with a Kevin James who is universally lovable, big teddy bear type of guy. Maybe he's losing a ton of weight for this as well. Am I missing something? Like, is Sean Payton fat and I've just never noticed? Like, I feel like he would play Andy Reid better than he'd play Sean Payton. But Netflix will literally turn anything into a movie, it seems, at this point. Like, it could be the worst story in the world. It's gonna show up on Netflix. So I just don't get. Does anybody care besides Saints fans? And I feel like they're pretty segregated down into one area, which is New Orleans. So I don't even know if this will get many watches, but it'll probably pop up on Netflix top 10 of the day or whatever, and people who like Kevin James, I guess. But I just don't see this as a need to be watched, and I probably won't watch it. Maybe I'll watch the trailer to see how it is, but shouldn't be happening, in my opinion.
No. Couple thoughts on this. One, I will definitely go see it if Tom Segura is playing Drew Brees in it. just get all overweight people to play the real actors, real people.
Yeah.
But my main thought is, I'm sure everyone out there, you have that thought of who would play me in a movie, right?
Yeah.
Who, like, and everyone's like, yeah, like, Keanu Reeves or Brad Pitt. Like, how about Billy Bean of Moneyball? Like,
Brad Pitt.
He's like, yeah, Brad Pitt would play me in a movie, of course. And he gets Brad Pitt. Sean Payton gets Kevin James. Like, I just man, I just don't know. Like, I can't imagine what Sean Payton's going through. If there were ever a penalty that he had to take from Bountygate, it's Kevin James. Like, they're like, we're only going to suspend you for a year, but in 10 years, we're going to ruin your life. So, like I said to you, if Air Bud is in this and he's like hunting bounties on the field, I'm all about it. Other than that, I really hope I never have to watch this. I will not be reviewing it for the podcast either, unfortunately.
I mean, I'm 100% in with you. I liked it the first time I saw it when it was called Grown Ups 2. Okay, let's just get it over with.
Yes. Let's move on. Another why is this happening story of the week. This one was something that I personally am wondering why is this happening, and I'm sure you are concurring with me. Pete Davidson is set to star in a biopic as Joey Ramone for a movie from Netflix, of course, called I Slept with Joey Ramone. So not much else is known about it. Pete Davidson also is writing the screenplay, which is based off the Mickey Lee story of the same name.
Come on.
Yeah. Wolf, why is this happening?
Can we just stop with the Pete Davidson stuff? Like, did the King of Staten Island really make $1 billion? Like, and we just don't know
money
it?
At all.
$0, right? I have never watched it. I refuse. Like, I watched the one show he had on Hulu about, like, him being pals with, like, a younger kid or something. I don't even know what it was about. Like, I've tried to push it out of my memory, but I've never heard him sing before. I don't know if Joey Ramone was like a singer in the Ramones or if he was just a guitar player, but is it just because he's like tatted up, tall and skinny that he'll fit the kind of rocker vibe? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't, there's so many more actors that could play good musicians who actually have musical talent, I think, as well. Obviously Rami Malek was like born to play Freddie Mercury because he already had the teeth and the look, but it's just enough already with the Pete Davidson craze. Like, I'm missing something, I guess. I don't know. I just don't understand.
His presence nauseates me. I truly can't stand him. I will never see another movie with him in it or support it. I know he's in Suicide Squad. As I've predicted, he will die in Suicide Squad with less than 5 minutes of screen time, because the only way they put him in the movie is to give him a horrific, hilarious, and gruesome death.
James Gunn, don't let me down.
Yeah, hopefully King Shark just was like, yo, I'm eating this guy.
Annoying.
Yeah, it's time to feast. But yeah, so I won't be seeing this. Whenever I think of Joey Ramone, I think of Vinny Chase from Entourage was going to play Joey Ramone in a movie on the show, and it was written by that old guy that it was always really weird. So yeah, so that's the one I want to see. That's the version I want to see. I don't know about you, but I hope this movie never gets made, is where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I could deal without it. I won't watch it. Again, it's just like, enough of this guy. He's not that funny. I think he lucked into a nice role on Saturday Night Live, and every time he's on there, he just, whenever he's playing a thing, it's almost like he's just being a sarcastic douche. Like, that's all he knows how to do. Yeah, and I don't think Joey Ramone necessarily falls under that. So I'm waiting for the disaster that are the reviews on that one.
For sure. So let's move along. That does it. It wraps it up for the week as far as news goes. We will jump into what we're watching. So, Wolf, what are you watching this week?
I seem to have a trend going here where I'm just hopping on the documentary train, and I did finish 2 documentaries very recently. Both are miniseries. The first one was Exterminate All the Brutes, which is on HBO Max. It's a 4-part miniseries, basically outlining, white supremacy throughout history, and how, especially like the colonizing of America and European kind of expansion across the world, and how it just left the natives in horrible straits. So it's very interesting. I'm a big history fan, so anyone who's interested in history will like this. And again, it's fairly graphic, so just be prepared for that type of stuff, but very, very good. And then another doc available on Netflix currently about something I didn't know anything about, which is the largest art heist in history, where 13 different works of art were stolen from a museum in Boston. The documentary is called This Is a Robbery, and it's basically the town, except in real life, where everyone is dropping their R's, and it's a good old Boston story. But I didn't know that this was the largest art heist of all time. I honestly didn't know much about art heists at all until this, but it was over $600 million worth of art at the time stolen from this museum in Boston. It's kind of a smaller, lesser known in the world type of museum. So pretty interesting, and it's just always fun to hear people talk with an accent, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that sounds like a really good one. Definitely check that out. That's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, awesome. So for mine, pretty cool actually. So what we are planning on this podcast, there's a movie coming out called Spiral, from the Book of Saul, also known as Saul 9. We're actually going to be doing a cross-promotion episode with our buddies over at the Movie Mania podcast, which is going to be really fun, where we're going to deep dive into the original 8 Saw movies, which will be awesome. So going to go through them all. If you want to watch along with us, we're going to be doing this episode probably in about a month from now, so start your rewatch now. We're going to talk about the twists, the traps, everything. So far, that's what I'm watching. I'm up to the 3rd movie. I'm loving every second of it. I know you're not a big horror fan, but I know you like the first Saw, and you got a hand job watching the second Saw or something. I forget what you said about that.
Never said that. Come on.
That's what I heard. But yeah, moving on. So definitely watch those. They are available to rent or buy on all streamers as it is going now. But let's move into our final segment of the week, where we take a look at some of your comments as relates to our last episode, which was the top 10 comedy movies of all time. So, Wolf, do you want to start us off? Any comments from people that sent stuff into you?
Yes, I being that Superbad was very high on both of our lists, my buddy Jeff reached out to me. We used to work at a liquor store together, and one of the things about going upstairs in this liquor store where all the storage was is that there was quite a lot of graffiti that had been left by employees just with a pen or whatever throughout all the different shelving and on some of the walls where none of the bosses ever went. It was always like where the grunts went to go get inventory. So when Superbad came out, we obviously talked quite a bit about the dick drawing scene where Seth, the character played by Jonah Hill, gets in trouble in the 5th grade for just drawing dicks on literally thousands of different, pieces of paper. And Jeff just happened to ask me, what was my favorite of all the drawings that were on there. His was a pretty good one. It was the Tiananmen Square moment where the dick is kind of facing down a tank and with all the, big red, Chinese flag and all that. Mine just happened to be a tie between the big veiny triumphant bastard that gets him in trouble initially and the one from Dr. Strangelove where the dick is literally riding down on a atomic bomb about to bomb some unknowing country. So I just thought that was pretty funny. Shout out to Jeffrey. Love you, buddy. Appreciate the comments and the support.
Yeah, I have to agree with him. The Army one, I think, is the funniest. Just something about the balls with the helmets on and everything. It's pretty good. But moving right along, thanks for sending that in. Paul Dixon sent us his top 10 comedy list of all time. So a lot of carryover from ours, but just highlight a couple of the movies that we didn't have on our list for the audience. He had Ace Ventura at number 10. Great movie. I know you had that on your honorable mentions. Beverly Hills Cop, really good one, number 9. Trading Places at number 6, another movie we didn't talk about. And then moving into the number 1 spot, we really did not discuss Anchorman, which was for a long time definitely my favorite comedy while I was in high school. Fantastic list, very Eddie Murphy centric, which is great. I actually, in response to this list, I rewatched Bowfinger last night. Really funny Eddie Murphy movie. Fantastic if you have not seen it. If you're into like just the art of making movies, stars Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy. It's one of his last good roles, I would say. Definitely check that out. So thank you for sending
great.
that in.
It is a good one. And I agree with you on the Anchorman point because Anchorman to me is possibly up there with the most quotable and not just quotable but quoted movies by everyone. Everyone talks about,
I just
Great
watched
Odin's
it too
Raven.
much. I watched it way too many times.
It's pretty funny. So thanks Paul for that list. It's good, man.
Awesome. That wraps us up for the week. Don't forget, we have the contest going on. You can also pick up your official Made for Movies shirts. I know Paul just grabbed his. He also sent that in as well, so we appreciate your support. madeformovies.com/merch. Pick up your shirt today. They are going quick. Anything else?
Absolutely. No, man. Of course, guys, we hope you enjoyed the episode. And make sure to check us out on all our socials. You can send us a message on our website, madeformovies.com, or DM us on our socials like Made for Movies Podcast, which is Instagram. And we will shout you out on the podcast. We really appreciate it. Until next time.
You stay classy, San Diego. Bye.
Bye.